there everybody, and welcome to another Glen Destruction review. Today on the spot we have the Feral Predator, which was just released recently. I think this is making its way out to stores currently as I speak right now. I can't verify that it's been, say, like a Target or whatnot, but I went ahead and got mine from Chubsy Wubsy Toys. I'll go ahead and leave a link to them so that way if you are interested in them, really fast. They ship out fast. I mean, the moment I ordered this, like maybe some 5 hours later, they were already getting this guy out in the mail to me, so it didn't take long. But we're going to go ahead and cover all the bases on this figure. This has been highly anticipated and is the most recent NECA Predator. Something new finally that isn't a Lost Predator. And it's great to know we didn't have to wait months and months or even a year for this figure to come out. He's out now. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the positives and the negatives. The first thing that we're going to talk about though is the box art. Alright, so here's the box. It is very simple. Prey, Ultimate Feral Predator. It's simple, it gets the point across and tells you what the product is. However, though, I'm not a big fan of this because of the fact that of all the talented artists on Instagram, so many that we saw that worked on the Ultimate line, and NECA has had some really cool artwork for various different figures through the years, I feel like something could have been done here. This is too simplistic. It just makes me think of like a teaser poster, something that really just kind of gives you the idea of a movie that's coming out with the text, you know, and then 20th Century Fox. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of this, really. So it seems like it's just too simplistic for my taste. Some people might not care. That's up to everybody. The side we have Prey, and same over here on the other side. Though we do have the orange text for Ultimate Feral, or like a kind of like almost like a yellowish almost. But on the top we have the standard stuff, you know, like the ages, choking hazard, whatnot. The one thing that is different though is, unlike some Predator figures, this one actually has the instructions on the actual bottom right here. So rather than putting a little slip or paper in there, it's on the bottom for you, and it's pretty detailed. Everything is pretty simple with the accessories to figure out. The back, though, is definitely where things are really intriguing. You have our, you know, shots, promotional shots of the Feral Predator. We have a little read-up, so if you want to go ahead and read up on that, go for it right there. Pause it. But we're going to continue this on various pictures and telling you what is included in here. So there's a lot to this figure. It makes up, maybe the box art is like, you know, like below mid, but the accessories in the actual figure is amazing and you won't be disappointed. Also, behind here you can go ahead and pull that out too, so if you want to go ahead and do a little cool photography shot of your own, if you're somebody that doesn't really want to go outdoors, it's too hot, too cold, whatever, you know, you got something to use and play with around right there. But that is the box. Simple. It's okay. It's okay. That's it right there. Alright, here's the main event. This is why we purchased this figure. Not for the box, but for the actual Feral Predator. One complaint I did have about this figure early on, I've kind of figured it out, is he did have some standing issues for me. I was looking for a stand all over the place. I was trying to get him to stay, like that little video, the intro video when he's spinning around rotating. That was so difficult. Now maybe it's because of the platform he was on. I don't know, the feet are not like the most perfect feet. He's got some gnarly looking feet, but he's a beautiful motherfucker, and this figure is definitely, actually hold up. Let's say this. The design of this character right here is something I'm mixed about, but really he mixed up with personality in the actual movie. Like, I mean, honestly, he might be one of the best Predators that we've seen in years. But we're going to go ahead and talk about the paint apps and the actual sculpt of this right here, so let's go ahead and get on with that. Starting with the head of this figure right here. This figure, as far as this head sculpt right here, okay, so we got to talk about this right here. This is kind of dipping into the accessories, but this is actually, like, easy on and off. It's not like the, the Alpha Predator, which, I mean, you just kind of had to find a soft spot and a perfect spot and manipulate things. We got a nice magnet in there, and it seems to hold, well, let's test that again. Let's test that theory again right there. I don't know. I believe there's a magnet in there. Maybe there's not. No, there's not a magnet. Okay, no. So you just go ahead and get it nice and snug on there. Why did I think there was a magnet? But it does hold well, so no magnet on that. There is a magnet somewhere on this figure. We'll talk about that in a moment. And it seems to be, it's a little difficult to get off. But you just got to kind of figure out that soft spot to go ahead and just kind of worm it in there. And you'll feel it just kind of like click in there. So we're going to go ahead and put that back on there. Perfect snap. The dreadlocks right here, which seem to be pretty separate. Except once, these are very thin dreadlocks. I just knocked the wrist blades off. Most of these are stuck together, like especially right here. This isn't as free as some Predators. I love having this because this forced NECA into a situation where they had to make some brand new dreadlocks rather than using some that we've already seen for, say, like the Jungle Hunter or the City Hunter, or say like the AVP ones. I don't think they're as good as those. I mean, they're kind of clumped in certain spots. Oh wow, I didn't, hold up. Take a look at that right there. What is going on there? Something we wanted to see in the actual movie right there. That is wild. That is interesting here. This is where our magnet is, by the way. So you just go ahead and attach this to the back right here. I suspected the magnet before even reading the accessories. I mean, NECA is really getting into some new things, but it's pretty simple. It seems to go on both sides. I can't remember what side it was on the movie. I threw it over here. I'll figure that out in a moment. I need to go back and look at pictures of the movie, but that's that right there. And then after that, you kind of go down, and we have our browns, our kind of like our pinkish reds. We had this nice metallic silver. I don't know what's up with that right there, but you will also see that throughout. Move on down right here. This guy is actually pretty slender, pretty tall. We have black spots on the arms, goes to brown. This is so cool. Like, honestly, my favorite part about getting these figures is getting a chance to kind of sink in what you weren't able to see in the movie. Now, this Predator did get plenty of screen time in the movie, but there's just so much happening, and, you know, this is the good chance to get a good opportunity to look at the actual figure. Very minimal body armor in contrast to most Predators. Very primal in a sense. Almost seems to be like a little bag right here that's holding like a ball or something like that in there. We have a skull. I think that was the wolf that he had killed in the movie. We have another trophy of sorts. I believe that was actually a weapon that was used in the movie. I can't remember. I gotta go back and watch the movie. Again, that movie's terrific, by the way. But let's not sidetrack that too much until we'll talk about the actual figure. And rather than actual shoes or boots, he kind of has like, it's almost like some ankle wraps that he has. He's a very, very primal, primitive predator. And I believe it was depicted in the movie as a different race or species of predator. Not quite like we saw in the 2010s Predator, or say like the one that we saw in the classic movie. So this is very much a character of its own. So I think, honestly, NECA, let's take this off real quick. I think NECA nailed everything. So I want to go back and actually watch the movie and see how accurate. From what I can see, though, I love the little details of all the stuff that I didn't even notice, like that up there. We have that pink going on down, blacks. It is just so well done with this figure right here. Like, there's so much variety and color going on, even if it's just primarily our browns, our blacks, our silvers, our red. It's just a very appealing figure to look at. So let's get the mask off also so we can take a look at this also underneath there. So on the head right here, I'm not going to really like, it's a very wonky design. I hate the design of this. I'm probably going to keep this on for the most part. But it just keeps in line with our browns. It seems to be there is a little subtle, kind of like a little bluish right there. I almost feel like I see right there. These mandibles are removable. We'll talk about that in a moment. The eyes seem to be okay on this. But yeah, that's that right there. And we have a pretty long neck on this Predator. Probably the longest neck I have seen of any Predator figure that we have been dealt. If any of the figures, honestly. I can't think of any. But it really kills it in the paint jobs and the overall sculpt. It's a brand new sculpt, so don't worry about things getting reused. That's one area this thing wins that. I can't criticize it for the face because NECA is just following suit with what they did in the movie. Alright, so the next thing we're going to go ahead and talk about is the articulation. NECA is getting a little bit better with some of the articulation. There's some figures I've reviewed that are very stiff, but this doesn't feel like one. I mean, honestly, just from what I've done in this review, I don't feel like it's a really stiff figure. But we have our usual things, like we have our head, which really gets some range right here. I think we can get this all the way around. Yes, we can. So it is not restricted by any armor, none of that going on right there. Then after that, we also have the neck, which goes up and down, a little bit side to side to kind of look each direction. Up to the side, we are cut on multiple ends, so let's go ahead and get the dreadlocks out of the way and kind of go over one arm is what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and move this light over just a little bit so you can get a better look. But you can go ahead and go up, down, side to side. So far, it is really good right here. Move this all the way around. You have double jointed elbows. This is perfect. This is perfect. I'm proud of this. Big step forward for NECA because the Lost Predator struggled for me. And then after that, you have your hands that go up and down all around. Perfect on that side right there. So we're not going to touch on this side since there's literally nothing different going over there. And then for that you have our ab crunch, which is, it checks out. It checks out enough. It is also kind of like rocked as far as like the waist, so you can spin him all the way around. A little bit limited. Just be careful, be mindful, make sure you don't grab something wrong and break something off. And then for that you have your leg right here, which, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like a ratchet joint. Yeah, that's reminiscent of the Assassin Predator. Wow, NECA. They applied that to the smaller figures. That's nice. Double jointed knees. So I'm just going to go ahead and move it right back there, just so you know, just point it out to you. And then for that you have your ankles, which kind of just rock on around. I don't think there is any extra articulation of that. So you're going to get some amazing range out of this guy. All thanks to none of the armor on this figure, which really helps him on out. This might be one of the best Predators I've handled in years as far as articulation goes. Okay, so now it is time to talk about the accessories for this figure. I've got things divided out. We'll bring everything into view and talk about each and every one of them. But first of all, we have the mandibles. So we have, discounting the mandible that's actually on the actual figure, we have at least 3 of them. I will show you how these go on and off in a moment, but we'll swing back around to that. So we have our open one, and we have another variation of a closed one, which I'm curious to see what the difference is. It's probably just how they're resting is the big difference, but putting that to the side, multiple hands. I think I've got them all divided out correctly. Discounting, there are the ones that are obviously the extra ones, which are on the actual figure, but we have like some different cupping hands, and for that we have like a wider one, which probably can hold probably his combi stick. And then for that there's also a more tightly closed one, but you can go ahead and slip something in there. And then there is our 2 fist ones. And then for that we have a few different ones, which this one is for, both of them I believe, are for the, what's it called, the crossbolt gun, which he does have included, so we'll put those to the side. No shortage of hands. I don't know what this is for, by the way. This was included, a little bag that was taped to his back. I guess you can just go ahead and hang certain things on him. Not exactly sure. I haven't looked around to see what it's going to do. I don't know, was there something on the back of the box? Let's take a look at that, though. Oh, I see, it's for the belt hooks is what it is, for hold to collapse combi stick. That's pretty cool, actually. We have 2 wrist blades. I will show you how these attach on due to the fact these are new. They're different than the ones that usually we play around with. It's nothing too difficult, so don't worry about that, though. But yes, we have those. Then for that, we also have our clip-on mask, and we have our magnetic backpack, which is very self-explanatory. I've already told you about that, so I'm not going to talk too deeply on those. It is pretty cool to look at and to kind of get a good look at those. But the mask, though, I have not showed you the interior of that. It is really cool how NECA is really going ahead and detailing the interiors of all of these figures. And this is a crazy just combination of, you know, alien technology along with an actual skull and bone of some creature that has been killed and used as a trophy. Nextly, we have our shield, which again I will show you how that attaches on, and we have our collapsed version, and then for that our main version. So those are pretty easy about how these go on. It's one of those things, it's all detailed on the very bottom. We have our bolt gun, which you just can go ahead and hold. Another new accessory for this Predator. I don't think we've ever seen a bolt gun for any of the Predators in the past, but it is a nice one, though. I don't know if I'm going to use it too much, but I love how NECA tries to not forget about any weapon. And next we have our combi stick. Now this came with 2 different hooks. If you remember in the review I talked about these a little bit. I figured it out. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how these hook on, and it kind of just keeps the combi stick collapsible in place. So that's pretty cool. That was the only thing that stumped me at first, because I saw that and I was like, I'm not going to throw that away, I'm not going to disregard it, it's got to go to something that I'm overlooking. But then for that we have our full-length combi stick, which is very different than most combi sticks that we've ever seen for the Predator. So rather than having 2 pointed ends, this one has 1, and is definitely one of the more memorable weapons that I remember watching in Prey. So everything is all there. I think this figure, I should say, covers all the bases for accessories and should satisfy any collector, whether you're a casual one or a hardcore Predator fan. So nextly, I want to go ahead and show you how to attach the mandibles and how to get them off. Some of my recommended techniques. So you're going to want to get in there with those seams right there. You're just going to want to say maybe like a fingernail on there and get a nice good grip. But also be careful and mindful. And let's see right here if we can get it. It's very snug, but here it comes on off right there. So we almost have it on off. So you get that off. And then for that, sorry if it's out of focus for the moment, but I'm just kind of giving you a rough idea of how this works. Now, with putting a new one on, you sacrifice the mask, I believe, unless, we'll test that out, actually. We'll test that on out. But there we go, we have it slid on right there. So sorry if a lot of that kind of got a little messy and out of focus, but yes, we do have that on, and that's how that works for all the mandibles. And where is our mask? Because I do want to go ahead and see if it's kind of like in the movie. Hey, yeah, you can still put it on. So, oh, that is awesome right there. That is, I think this is how I'm going to have him posed, to be honest. So that's how that works, but that's only part one of the different accessories and how to attach them. So nextly, I want to go ahead and show you the wrist blades. It's almost kind of like the Assassin Predator, and I feel like, was it the, God, which Predator was it in the crappy 2018 movie? I can't remember his name. Fugitive. Yes, I believe he acted exactly like this. Now, it seems like it goes into this one like completely. I can mask it pretty good right there, but if you notice this one right here, I'm going to play around with it more, the one on the top right there. So it doesn't seem to be too perfect in a sense, but it works, so that's how it is. Some of that may be quality, you know, on NECA's part. And now one of the more simpler accessories, which is the shield. So we have the collapsed one, which just either way, it really doesn't matter. You just go ahead and just pop it on in there, right on the wrist gauntlet. And that's how that works right there. Pretty snazzy, pretty cool. And then for that, if you want to go ahead and have the main shield as it's opened, which this was one of my favorite things in the movie Prey, honestly. The shield is really cool. I don't think we've seen a Predator with the shield quite yet, but it just goes ahead and just snaps right on in there. So that is pretty dope. I'm a big fan of this Predator and his unique accessories that he has. And then you have the final part, which is the hooks, which don't have a lot of rhyme or reason, but you just kind of hook them in between the waist, and they hold the combi stick into place. So that is that. He is all fully equipped, and I think this is how I want to display him on my shelf. This guy has been worth the money so far. I mean, I'm happy with him. It's just that I want to know what you guys think, and we're about ready to wrap this review, but I have one more thing I want to do, and that's a size comparison. For a general size comparison, let's compare him to the Lost Predator from the Lost Tribe, just a little bit bigger. It's the torso and the legs that really do it for this guy, honestly. That's primarily why he is a bit bigger and longer, so that's the main thing he has going on. And now a comparison to Chopper or Gil, whichever you want to call him from the AVP movie, towers over him just a little bit. Alright, so my conclusion of this figure, I do believe this is one that collectors need to have. I mean, I do believe this film should have went to theaters, and this Predator is really iconic as far as personality, just instantly. I loved it. I think it's an intriguing design, even though I'm not a big fan of the face. That's where it fell flat. However, though, I can look past everything. I found my way of how I wanted to display it, and this is it. So, now, let's talk about something. Why are there two NECA Feral Predator figures in the background? Well, that's because one of them obviously is mine, the other one is going to be a giveaway. I'm going to be doing a review as I see of the movie Prey. I have not done that yet, and that movie, just stay tuned, keep your eyes peeled, like, subscribe, because you don't want to miss it, because one of those is going home to somebody, just like I did for the Hayagodzilla. So, it pays off to go ahead and pay attention to my channel. So, I'm going to do this regularly. As often as I can, actually, I should say, financially. But I love doing giveaways. I love making people happy, and I love networking with new fans, so this is my way of giving back to everybody for getting me to this point and going further as you follow me along. So, like, subscribe, you have a great day, stay tuned, because somebody will get that one right there on the left. Good day.